Hey, what's going on? I just picked up the van from Dodge. I had to take it in and made an appointment to get my alternator upgraded, which is the reason why I wanted to get on here and talk. I wanted to make a very important point, something most need to know, and people are talking about it on YouTube. I know they are, and some of you know this and some of you don't. But one important thing you need to know is when you're building out these vans, whether it be a ProMaster or a Sprinter or any van that you're doing, it was my understanding and to my knowledge that anything over 100 amp hours of battery, you need to upgrade that alternator, and I'll tell you why. If that alternator doesn't have enough power and run enough RPMs to handle charging that battery, you can undertow that alternator and burn it up. You could potentially catch you under the hood of your car on fire. You could catch that thing on fire, and I've seen this before. I mean, your alternators, and a lot of people aren't told that you make sure you have a minimum of a 220 amp alternator up under the hood of your car. Now, there are some people may disagree, but maybe some of those people don't understand the proportion of electricity and how it works. So understand that you undertow that alternator, you burn it up. It's an expensive purchase. If I would have paid for it in this van when I bought it new a month ago, it would have been less than $300 as an upgrade, but I had them throw it in the deal, and they put it in, no questions asked. They up from the 180 to the 220 amp alternator. So it's very important you know that, because I'm going to have 300 amp hours of battery in here, and not only would you possibly tear up that alternator, you could burn that lithium battery up. And I'm getting a 300 amp hour lithium battery. That battery's going to run about $3,000. And that's an expense you don't want to incur right there. So most importantly, just, make sure you have a good alternator. It's very important to do when you do this. Next point in hand is this. If you're doing battery isolation, AGMs, a lot of people take a battery isolation relay straight to another AGM battery, and you may be okay. I think it's still important to do on any battery, but especially lithium batteries. Lithium batteries, you got to be careful what you're doing. You overcharge these things or put too much amperage to them, you tear that lithium battery up and burn it up bad. You can kill that battery as quick as you got it. So get a good battery monitoring, a good charge controller that monitors between the chassis battery and that alternator and your back battery, especially for lithium. And I tell you, they make battery monitors of all types. I got the Renogy DC to DC, and it has the MPPT charge controller from a solar all-in-one unit. It's a very good unit. Some people are kind of arguing and saying, well, it limits how much amperage or watts, actually, pardon me, I'm using the wrong terminology, how many watts that you're getting off that chassis battery into your lithium battery. But it's not a bad thing because it's protecting that battery. You might be getting 50 or 60 watts, but at the same time, your solar is charging at the same time while you're driving, or all the time. So if you're driving, you're getting the DC to DC from the battery isolation as well as your solar as well. And the solar is giving you what it's giving you. But it's a good charge controller for that. You really want to make sure you get some sort of a battery monitor, whatever you choose, depending on what you're looking at. I mean, I honestly would run breakers or A&L fuses between the chassis battery and that charge controller, which I'm going to do. You want another 100 amp between that charge controller and the battery. And I'm also going to put another 100 amp off. I'm going to have a separate battery charger from a 20 amp. DC charger for that battery coming off a 20 amp would be a 100 amp fuse as well. It's actually going to be all breakers, because I just don't want to carry fuses around. The breakers are just sufficient, if not more. And it's, again, all out of choice. People put what they want. But it's very important that you just think through every step of the way and what you're doing. I mean, electricity is proportional, I knew to quickly figure out that I'm going to have, I didn't order this. I ordered a 3,000 watt inverter with a 6,000 surge, but they sent me a 3,500, and I'm okay. That's a little more headroom, but I knew I was going to need at least a 300 amp breaker, and that's what we got. And we're fine with that, And even in my knowledge of this, I really called and wanted to get someone else's take and make sure that my brain was correct, because when it's been a little while since you've calculated that, you want to be sure. I mean, it's not hard calculation. It's all, like I say, it's all proportional. But there's a little thing called Ohm's Law that figures it out if you understand that. If not, there are people who will help you. It's not hard. You just have to be very careful about what you're doing. But anyway, I wanted to talk about that. I got my alternator upgraded. It's very important to do so. You just don't want to, you want to be sure it's worth to spend $200 or $300, even $500 for a new alternator. It's worth that expense to save you from having to spend $3,000 or $4,000 for a battery bank that you've killed, or, you know, in one end. But more than likely, a new alternator could cost you another $500, $600 to $1,000 that you've burned up and undertowed, and maybe more an expense that you've burned something else up or caused other damage to the vehicle. So just wanted to get on here and rap about that for a second. The van build is going fantastic. We got all the walls in. We're going to get the ceilings in here Sunday, I believe, in a couple of days. In the meantime, I'm just making sure I get my cabinetry up and everything going, and I can't really do any hard wiring for anything until I get that in, and the battery will be last. The last things I get will be the AC, the air conditioning, the battery, and the side window. My solar panels should be coming from Energy here soon, within this week sometime, and I got to get those on the roof. That's another thing I've got to do, and get those mounted. I've got the line back there somewhere. There's a wire dangling over there somewhere, but anyway, I'll have to run it out and meet the panels through the back box. I've got all my cable glands that will hold that in. They're waterproof. So anyway, it's going great, and I will keep you further posted on how this is going. Thank you for watching, and have a great one. Be cool.